Hi, welcome to radio. I'm Reverend Rich. This is Reverend,
Reverend Paul.
and we have a special guest today. Da da da,
Da, da,
Audrey,
da.
Reverend Nichole. Well, this is Prayers Radio. We are about prayer. Uh, Basically, come on, Paul. What's that?
Affirmative prayer,
There we
science
go.
of mind,
Ernest
spiritual treatment.
Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is let Reverend Audrey pray us in, and then we'll get to know her a little better, and then we'll ask our wonderful questions. So if you pray us in, please.
Wonderful. Good morning. Good morning. Please, if you are so inclined, I invite you to take a deep, grounding breath. I invite you to give yourself permission to wholly be right here and right now. Knowing that this day, this moment, this life is only God and only good. Leaning into the power and the joy of coming together with fellow beloved, like-hearted, like-spirited individuals to lean into the conversation of this powerful tool called prayer. I know that in our time together, what needs to be said is said, what needs to be heard is heard, and we also have a heck of a lot of fun. Let's begin. Amen.
That's wonderful. Well, I'll tell you, we're just very blessed to have you because you're doing some very important work in the Science of Mind community. And I could speak to that because my daughter went to this thing called Next Gen. And what exactly is Next Gen?
Yes, Rach, it was such a joy to have Morgan with us last year. Next Gen is the annual retreat for the 18 to 35-ish year olds. It is the only young adult programming in our movement at this time.
How cool is that? Oh, gosh. And then you had your site is let's see, revaudra.org. And remember, www.revaudra.org. And she has just a whole bunch of things that she's doing. What are some of the other things that you'd like to talk about that? Just real quick to plug.
Yeah, well, I think the important thing is that I am the senior minister of a CSL teaching center called Spirit Uncensored. Spirit Uncensored was founded by the beloved Reverend Casey Taylor a few years back, and I've worked with it. It was actually a ministry that was inspired by NextGen and is essentially a ministry that is the same NextGen vibe and vigor without any age condition at all. It has nothing to do with age. Spirit Uncensored is really what the name says. And our mission at Spirit Uncensored is to cultivate revolutionary spiritual playgrounds. NextGen is an example of that. We've hosted a variety of phenomenal events over the years, and we are also super honored and blessed that the phenomenal annual women's retreat called Sister Spirit, run by beloved Reverend Abigail Shire, is now under the Spirit Uncensored umbrella as well.
Wow. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff on your plate. I suggest you go to her site, www.reverendaudra.org, and check it out because there's just too many things to talk about. We'd love to talk to you about an hour on this, but, we're not going to do that. Paul, what do you got?
And I love that you said that we're here to play. So let's play in prayer.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So speaking of prayer, like how has prayer demonstrated in your life? What results have you seen from your own prayer?
Well, I don't think we have time for all of that, but I can give you a couple examples, I suppose. One of my favorite things. So for me, prayer is not a one-way experience. I know we often speak that meditation is where we receive and prayer is where we speak to. And I think that is true in quite a few ways and times. But for me, in my evolution, they've really become one. And so I had an experience where my car was broken. It was a new to me car. It was a used car, but it was new to me. I'd had it less than a year. I had only paid $11,000 for the car. Completely broke down on me. And the mechanic wanted $8,000 to fix it.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, that I
That
don't
ain't
I
gonna
don't
happen.
have that. That's not an option. Like, I don't know how to communicate differently, that's not an option. So I didn't have a car for quite a few months. I just let it sit there. I didn't know what to do. Until finally I decided to engage with spirit, and knowing that in our philosophy, it is taught that spirit only works for us. So I had to ask, how is this for me? How is this for me? What incarnation is going on? How is this for me? Um, and then I received the information that I was at a time in my life where I could not vocalize boundaries the way that I needed to. And I had learned that if I said, oh, I can't, my car's in the shop, that was an acceptable response by the people in my sphere that were asking too much of me. So that was really beautiful insight. And so I just stayed with that for a couple months, and I thanked spirit and the universe. And then I got to a point and I said, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to have my car back. I'm ready to use my voice. I don't need this. Thank you. And I was praying and nothing was working, but I really wasn't seeking deep into the prayer like we do. And this was actually before I had found Science of Mind. So I didn't know the 5 steps. So I didn't know how to get to that feeling space. So I was just doing my best. But I wasn't really getting there. I wasn't really getting into that direct connection line until there was a day I was on a walk and I was just ready to throw in the towel. I'd been reading all my Hay House books. I'd been studying all my spiritual philosophies, but nothing was working. So on this walk, I said, while I'm walking, I'm going to see, at the time I had a Toyota Highlander. I said, on this walk, I'm going to see, I said, God, if you actually exist, you need to show yourself. On this walk, I'm going to do my regular walk. If I see a Toyota Highlander, that is how you tell me you are real. And if I get to the end of this walk and I do not see one, you are not real. Damn. And I actually believed that completely in my body and in my bones. So after I made that declaration and I started walking, I started kind of looking for the car, like peeking over fences and I was like looking, right? And so I did that for about a block or two. And then I was like, no, you are going to put it in front of my face. I am not going to look for this. You are going to deliver it like you say that you can, like we are taught. I kid you not. I get to the end of the block. My year, my color, my model drove by.
Nice.
Right in front of my face. I get God bumps now just. So Spirit said, call the mechanic and ask about, the Spirit said, look for, what are they called? Recalls. Mm-hmm. So I logged back on the site. Sure enough, there was a brand new recall in the last 48 hours.
Wow.
I called the mechanic who had my car now for 5 months. And I'm like, look at the recalls. He's like, honey, we have been over this. There is no recall. I was like, please just humor me. I know it'll take you 5 minutes. Just please humor me. Please just check again. And he's like, yeah, whatever. If it'll make you stop calling me. Sure enough, he was like, oh my goodness. There's a new recall. This recall is so new. I don't have the part yet. I don't have the information. But if you come down today, I'll give you a rental car and we'll get this started.
Ooh. Wow. Perfect. That is great.
It is fantastic.
So
and the part of the story that resonated with me, at the beginning, you said that it works for you and it works through you. It didn't matter until it worked through you that you got your result.
That's right. That's right. And that's how it goes. It works through you, for you, and ripples out into the universe. That's how
it goes. And it only works to the level that you are willing to receive. And throughout the course of that story, through the different elements of that journey, my level of receptivity varied. And my results did as well.
Wow.
We're done. Well, that was good.
I just got to add in there, folks, that this is unscripted. This is real. We ask the questions and they come out. And it's however we want to express it. And I think it's just wonderful. That's a beautiful, beautiful demonstration. I didn't say story.
No, demonstration.
There you go. So that sounds that's the tangible results from prayers, and then you're grounded. How do you ground yourself? I mean, how do you prep your day? Do you just go in and say, "God, I'm here," or what?
If I'm being completely honest, it depends on the day. Some days I do just jump out and go for it. But one of the things that I do, I would say nearly every morning. I think I would be lying if I said 100% of mornings, but almost 100% of mornings. When I first awake, and I'm still not awake, the first moment that I'm consciously aware that I'm awake, I say thank you. And then I start saying thank you for anything I can think of. My home, my bed, my pillow, my partner, my breath, the day, the love.
That's nice. Starting your day with gratitude.
That's the first thing. And then my ideal morning in spiritual practice is, I had this amazing mentor, beloved Jenna Fleming. She taught us to, oh my gosh, now it's escaping me. RPM. Like a car, RPM. Rise, pee, meditate. So open your eyes, go empty your bladder, and then put your butt back in the bed or wherever your prayer chair, meditation chair is, and meditate while you're still as close to those theta wavelengths as you can be. So I love a quiet meditation. Nowadays, I like a silent meditation, but when I was very first learning meditation as a practice, Deepak Chopra and Oprah used to have these 21-day free meditation things where they would speak for about 3 to 6 minutes, and then it would be silent for the remaining totaling 10 or 15 minutes. And that was how I started building my morning meditation practice. And now I'm a big fan of Insight Timer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm on day 240 this round of consecutive days of meditation.
Nice.
We'll put a link in that in the notes too for the Inside Timer. During your day, I mean, how do you stay grounded in prayer? That's the thing, this.
Yeah, when you're challenged, something comes up.
Yeah,
like you're driving a car. Yeah.
So I love that we're talking about cars. So it's so interesting. In ministerial school, they didn't, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall being directly taught to take a deep breath before you pray.
Oh,
I don't
never.
remember anyone ever teaching me that. However, my beloved boyfriend, who did not know about CSL before me, and his 13-year-old daughter also did not know about any of this before me, they tease me. Because before I pray, I take a really deep breath. So we were at a Bass Pro Shop and they were giving away a car. So there was big signs and marketing and everything. And so the ad campaign was rev up, as in revving up your engine. So now, before I pray, when I take a deep breath, they are like, oh, there she goes. She's revving up. There she goes. Watch.
That's so funny.
So I say that to say breath. Breath is how I ground. And it was very encouraging for me later to learn that later in Ernest Holmes' career, it is said that a lot of his prayers were actually silent. That he wasn't as vocal when he was praying. And I find that true for myself because I love the 5-step prayer treatment. I love the amazing tool that it is. Ernest found this way for us to use our words to get to where we need to go energetically for prayer to be as profound as it can be. And so I'm grateful that Sometimes I need the words. Sometimes I need to go through the 5 steps verbally, either out loud or internally, to truly get to that place. That's a real thing. But it is not the majority. At this stage in my spiritual life, the majority of my prayer is silent, and it is just it's that, we hear the phrase dropping in, and I don't know how else to describe it. There's an energetic drop into the gap, into the space, into the conscious awareness of the oneness.
I like that.
That's wonderful. I mean, that's what you do every day is that you stop and if something goes on, again, I always emphasize prayer isn't for when something's wrong, folks. Prayer is when you want to do other things. I mean, Holmes was asked in his second, book, the Holmes Papers, and says, do you want to do prayer for everything and anything? And somebody asked him, well, you can't pray for money. Well, yes, you can, he says. Page 88, if you're wondering. So that's wonderful. So that's what you do every day is you just pray when you need it, or if you feel it, or you're always in it.
And I stay close. I stay as close as I can to the reality of the opulence of the divine.
Right.
So I really believe that the quality of our life is directly related to the quality of our questions. And I know that we teach that we are one and that we don't pray to an old man in the sky. However, now that I'm later in my spiritual journey, I sometimes find it very helpful to create a separation, to actually lean into an idea of separation, to allow the parts of myself that are insecure or scared to feel small. To honor that, there are parts of me at times that are scared, that are intimidated, that don't know the answer. Knowing that when I speak to God, I'm only speaking to another part of myself. So I do know in myself, I hold the both as true. So I say that to say, I'm here in my office at home, and I have a whiteboard right in front of me. And on my whiteboard that I see every single day, it says, "Beloved God, how good can life be? Can you show me? Can you show me the depths of my joy and bliss and fun?" So I'm always leaning into that. So even though it says "Beloved God" and it leans into an element of separation, I'm really asking that part of myself that is the oneness. How good can it be?
Well, it's your experience, so the whole thing is you, anyways. How you're looking at it, how you're perceiving God, how you're perceiving yourself, how you're looking at the different parts, because everything is part of the one mind. At least that's my. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, we are the one mind, individualizing it perfectly through who we are.
That's right. That's right. And so when you're speaking your truth into the law of yourself, which says, I'm there. I'm part of all this, everything, everywhere, and I'm not separate.
So, Audra, you said that there was a good example of how your prayer is evolving, how it has evolved. Do you see it evolving even further?
Well, how could it not?
Yeah, because you put it out there, what you want, and it's there.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that, I believe very strongly in the laws of nature, the physical nature, that we're evolving and growing or we're dying. So I hope to continue to evolve and grow. And as such, I would expect my relationship to the divine and my prayer practices to evolve and grow as well. But I, at this time, have no idea what that would look like.
Yeah, because Ernest Holmes said that. He said our image of God grows as we grow. So we're always growing and changing. We're always becoming. So we're becoming more and more.
And, in page 317, paragraph B, talks about that the Spirit works for us by working through us. So when you were talking about that, that's all I was thinking, that going, ooh. And I'm like, well, where does it say that? Okay, that's where it is. Well, we want to have something to reference back on that, because people are in their different stages of understanding the science of mind in this conversation show that we do. And we want to make sure that people can reference back to those things that they can grow with. And Holmes talks about that extensively.
Yeah, and
But
all the
go ahead,
ministers we've
Paul.
had on have talked about that specifically, how
Oh,
they've
yeah.
grown and changed and still growing and changing.
Mhm.
This is a
Oh, yeah.
philosophy that grows with us.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
it constantly grows with us.
Mhm.
Uh, you've talked about how your prayers are evolving and changing over time. Where you were saying that, you've gone to a different prospect of it and looked at it in a different way to actually bear more fruit, if you will.
Mhm.
And the prayer specifics, we'll talk a lot of times with a 5-step prayer and a 7-step prayer and a 1-step prayer is because that's when and boom, it happens. What would you like to tell our audience about that, or what do you think about that?
I mean, I always think it's really important to emphasize, especially for those who have not directly, personally, maybe studied science of mind, to understand that
Mhm.
the 5-step prayer that Ernest taught was not ever taught from this is the correct and right way to pray. I know that in so many spiritual and religious philosophies, there is a very strong emphasis on right and wrong, and my way is better and your way is not. So I always find it very important to remind anyone learning about this that it is not the correct
Mm.
one and only better than all method of prayer. It is simply one method that
Mm-hmm.
Ernest found was duplicatable, which adds the element of the science that if one can do this prayer properly, the results are guaranteed. But I've also unfortunately discovered that not all those who learn this prayer, even specifically in our movement, even specifically through practitioner training, are not actually taught the very key elements to this
Mm.
prayer. So it is very important to understand that the whole point is that you can use these words to get to a place energetically, but
Perfect.
only if you do it right. It is something that has to be done. There is a right and a wrong way to do it. And the right way to do it is to stay in each step until you energetically arrive
Mm.
there. So step 1 is the unification, God is all one. You might need to stay in step 1 all damn day. I don't know what's going on in your life. You might just need 1 minute, or you might be able to skip that step. The step is, can you get there energetically?
So you're
Energetically, you understand that all is one. And step 2, energetically, what do you need to say? How long do you need to say things until you understand in your bones and in your soul that you are one with all that is, and etc., etc.
Well, that's where it works through us. That's what you're pointing out. It has to work through us. It's not just a mind thing. It comes
Correct.
from your heart. And even Quimby, who was the first person to coin spiritual mind treatment, one of our great forefathers of New Thought, he had the 3 steps, just knowing it, unifying with it, and declaring it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
yeah,
beautiful. Once we feel that and have it absorbed into our body, then all the power of spirit is behind us.
And that's the part that has kind of gotten lost in our philosophy over the years,
Mm.
because Ernest was so cerebral and academic. There's such an emphasis on the words and on the brain, and it is not in the head that this work is done. Even though we say this thing called one mind, we don't mean one brain.
Right.
Uh, we mean one spiritual, conscious, unified field called a mind. And it's the feeling and the heart that does the work. So
Mm.
I think that is always important to remind and bring back words to. The mysticism is the heart, is the spirit, is the sweetness. And Ernest's cerebral approaches are really a profound framework to guide us in sorting through our feelings and sorting through the metaphysical spaces in ourselves and in this greater world, um, to use the law, which is just love.
And that's interesting
Beautiful.
because in his later years, he wished he had talked more about love than law because he just assumed everybody knew about love.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
just, I love that he thought that everyone assumed that, and I hate that he was wrong.
Yeah.
And I
Mm,
think that he's still wrong about that, that we don't talk about that enough. And that's why, you see a lot of our really experienced, deep ministers, like your Reverend Patty Paris, like your
Mm.
Kathy Ann Hearn, who are, I'm not Kathy Ann Hearn, I'm sorry.
Reverend.
Yes, Kathy Hearn. Yes, also Reverend Dr. Kathy Hearn, as well as Kathy Ann Lewis, Reverend Kathy Ann Lewis. These deep spiritual women, they always turn to Emma,
Mm.
because Emma Curtis Hopkins and her emphasis in her teaching on the mysticism, on the heart, on the depth of the soul and the spirit, and um, we need to talk more about that. We can't just, if we talk just about Ernest, we'll leave out so much of it so much of that, what he thought we already knew, that too many of us don't.
Yeah, remember, Ernest got that from Emma Curtis Hopkins. His spiritual awakening was through her lessons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another
And then we
powerful
have to, we're at the 5 minute mark right now. So we're going to shotgun these questions. Boom. All right.
Boom.
There we
Okay.
go.
Cool. I'm
How
ready.
how do you explain this philosophy to somebody that doesn't even know what you're talking about? What is this philosophy?
Yeah, it's an amazing spiritual philosophy where it talks about, yes, the good works that Jesus said and taught, but also yes to what Buddha said, what Muhammad said,
Mm.
all of the greats, not just one. And it really leans into what we all have in common, and that we're really all just one, and that the law and spirit are things that we can commune and work
Mm.
with.
And do you have a favorite book and quote of Ernest?
So my favorite Ernest quote isn't really simple. We only have 5 minutes, so I will just say it is the first page of the Science of Mind book, which is a poem titled "Peace Be Upon Thee, Stranger." So if you
Mm.
haven't read that, I highly recommend it. But that is absolutely my favorite Ernest quote.
Nice.
And your favorite book from Ernest Holmes or others?
My favorite book written at the same time in 1925 is The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn.
Mm.
Mm,
It is a
yeah.
profound, tiny book on audio. I think it's only about an hour and a half. So it is a really powerful tool to listen to over and over again. And anyone struggling with faith, that is my go-to
Was she a student
tool.
of Thomas Troward?
I don't know. I don't know her relationship to the New Thought founding fathers, but she was here during that same time. So she was
Mm.
on that wavelength.
Another powerful woman in our movement.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. How does spiritual mind treatment show up in your life? I mean, you've already gave a few examples already, but what's the bam moment that says, "Oh, this is how it works"?
I mean, that was I mean, I don't know how more bam God do you exist or do you not exist it gets. That was very bam for me.
All right. When do you release a prayer into law? At its conception, or just okay, God, here it is?
When I've said what I need to say on the matter,
Mm,
Mm.
I like that.
and that varies depending on the moment and the situation. I might not need to say much, but I might be very in my humanness and need to say a lot about it.
There you go.
And sometimes we release it as we're praying. Like when I'm doing a prayer, I'm releasing it as my prayer is coming up. Think of a comet, and the comet's going through the sky. It's releasing all the light behind it. Do
Yeah,
you
I
have,
wouldn't say that that's my experience, but that doesn't negate yours.
yeah, we're
Exactly.
all one.
Hmm.
We all have our own experiences.
And what would
What?
you want? Oh, go ahead, Rich.
No, you got it.
Oh, if there's a takeaway that you would like our audience to know, what would that be?
The greater good is always available. to the level at which we are ready to receive. In order to increase our capacity to receive, we have to be brave enough to tell ourselves the truth. And a lot of our programming and upbringing and subconscious beliefs and fears and false beliefs affects our capacity at this moment. But the greater we're willing to lean in and use these tools and lean into the truth with a capital T, the greater our capacity expands.
Well, you gave us a lot of good takeaways today.
Oh yeah. What I just we'll plug you right now, and what we have www.revaudra.org in case we can't spell like I can't sometimes in the morning. And there's all of her stuff is on there. Is there anything else you want our audience to know about Reverend Audra?
I mean, next gen is my heart and soul. And the next generation of this planet needs help, needs support, mentors, classes, scholarships, donations to our program. If you feel so inclined to invest in the next generation, please consider donating to Next Gen. It is an annual retreat that teaches these spiritual principles. We've been around for 10 years, and we are actually rapidly growing and expanding the offerings that we have available for this demographic. And if I just invite everyone to think about the age they were when they discovered these principles and imagine what would be possible if they had found them 5 years earlier, 10 years earlier, 20 years earlier. And that's the work of Next Gen.
So that's I can speak to that because my daughter went to it, and she was like, well, I don't know, but we're going to go anyways. She went, and she said it was an open book. There are people of different spiritual backgrounds that were there. Can I say that? Or
yes, of course, absolutely.
I mean, everybody was pretty much open to it because I was listening to her talk about it. And if you're you're a young adult, it might be something you might want to do. Where's it located at, and what's the genre of it? It's in the countryside, I believe.
Yeah, so we've had it at a couple venues. We are back at our primary venue, which is in Northern California, in the middle of the redwood forest, on top of a hill at a Buddhist monastery. So the grounds are very sacred. It will be in October in 2026, Indigenous Peoples Weekend. And it's a Friday afternoon to Monday morning. And it is, it's spiritual principles and teachings. It is, Spirit Uncensored is a CSL affiliated. So we teach CSL, but in true Ernest Holmes fashion, it is very, very inclusive.
It's one last thing I'll add about that is that your phone won't work up there.
It will not. There's no Wi-Fi either, so it's, sometimes we try not to tell them that because some of them are so afraid of it. But the feedback was profound. The conversations got so deep so fast just over meals because they couldn't run off to their phones. There was no perfect. Candy Crush.
And I invite our other reverends and stuff to maybe promote this in their own centers and stuff, unless they have something like this, which we'd love to actually have you come in and talk to us about that. But this is something that CSL is putting out in the Science of Mind community, and it's something that you should look at for your own community, for younger adults that are in your community that you want to have grow and maybe have a good spiritual experience. Would you think that?
Well, and to that point, we actually have quite a few offerings now. We are launching pilot programs at a few communities to work out the kinks to create a little more structure to help communities launch local next-gen chapters. We also have what we call next-gen takeover events where we come to your center, we do the Sunday talk, we host a workshop, a Q&A, and really help engage. We're also launching a variety of mentorship programs to help ministers learn or next-geners learn. So there's a lot going on here. So just reach out. Happy to connect with anyone about what's going on in their community and how we can support.
All right. And CSL is Centers for Spiritual Living, just in case people listening don't know what CSL is.
And there's other philosophies like agape and all these other ones that are out there also that help with that. But we like to do the CSL thing because it's pretty organized also. Would you like praying us out, please?
Sure,
Or
yeah,
rev
and
us
I want
out.
to say also, unity is a very similar philosophy, and Next Gen
Mhm.
is in direct conversations with Next Gen Unity. I will have you know, we were called Next Gen first. However, we still love them, and we are in direct conversations with their leadership on how we can collaborate and bring more profound events to this demographic.
Nice.
So, with that, let's take
Let's
a deep
rev
breath
us out.
so I can rev up. And from this place and this joy and this laughter, I just say yes. Yes, yes, yes to the juicy conversation, to the collaboration, to the camaraderie, to the inspiration, to the sharing, to the connecting, to the good that is here now and all that is unfolding. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Paul, for making this space, for bringing us all together, for giving us a chance to lean into this powerful tool to share, to connect. I'm grateful for this time, grateful for this good work. And I release this word as complete. And so it is.
And
And
so
so
it
it
is.
is. Well, I'm Reverend Rich. I'm Prayers Radio, and you can buy Paul and I a cup of coffee on our individual things and or donate to us and to our guest, which is important. Go to her site. And Paul, where can they find you at?
You can find me at IamSpiritAlive.com.
.com.
.com.
So together we say, bye.
Bye.